Hey guys! Welcome back to Popverse, the place where puzzles get explained and killers get caught. If you're into crime, mystery, and insane plot twists, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and drop your theories in the comments. Today, we're diving deep into 9 puzzles, episode 7 and episode 8, and trust me, you don't want to miss a second. In episode 7, Aina is sitting in flat 5802, deep in thought. She imagines how Chi-mok gifted this flat to Myung back when they were dating. But here's the catch. When Yunsu built that building, 13 flats were assigned to him. He transferred 12 of them to his family. So why did Chi-mok get one? Aina and Kim analyze how this flat has been passed around too quickly despite no crimes being reported there. Yunsu gave it to Chi-mok just 2 months after receiving it, and then Chi-mok handed it over to Myung a month later. It all feels like some sort of reward system after a shared crime. Aina wonders if her uncle Dong was connected to all this. Kim guesses maybe Dong, being a superintendent, covered up the crime for them. But then what did he get in return? They examine the puzzle pieces again. Yunsus shows a clown stomping on sandcastles. Chimik's piece has a man with an armband. Myung's shows someone whispering into another's ear. And Dong's has a doll being shot at. Kim suddenly gets a headache and wants coffee. Aina gives him her card and tells him to bring it back here. When he returns, she says, "Let's go for a walk now." Classic Aina. Later, Kim meets ex-Captain Dongsu to learn more about Dong. Dongsu praises Dong as a great investigator and the youngest in their batch. Kim suspects his quick promotions had hidden reasons. But Dongsu defends him, saying Dong never did anything wrong. Kim then asks why he left the force. Dongsu tells him about the infamous Jangwoo serial murder case, where heads were found every Monday. Initially, it seemed like multiple killers, but eventually it was confirmed to be one, a serial killer who mainly targeted girls. The media blamed Dong for not solving it in time. Overwhelmed, he resigned. In therapy, Aina refuses to disclose the secret place where she sleeps peacefully now. Instead, she insists they talk about Uncle Dong. She thinks her mind erased the murder memory because remembering it would have caused her too much pain. Her therapist, Lee, agrees people often shut their eyes to pain. She admits it happened to her too, but stops before sharing more. Outside, Aina bumps into Nam. Nam lies at first, saying she came to meet a friend, but then confesses the real reason. Aina tells her that Myung deliberately ran a red light after seeing the police car, just so they'd follow her and she could ask for help. Nam feels even more guilty, but Aina says even if she had reached her in time, she couldn't have changed the outcome. Back with Kim, they begin digging into Uncle Dong's past cases. Kim asks, "How well do you really know your uncle? What if he covered up other crimes too?" He urges Aina to think like Lieutenant Aina, unbiased and sharp. Meanwhile, Dongsu calls Chief Yang and tells him Kim is investigating Dong's death. Yang's face instantly changes. He knows something. He tells Dongsu, "Dong was our friend. What do you think really happened to him?" Switching scenes, Kim finds a defamation case file connected to Myung Seong. The last victim's brother had filed a lawsuit against a journalist and Dong, but the court dismissed it after 3 months. While walking, Kim tells Aina about the handkerchief clue. Aina counters. If someone in the department is helping the killer, why would they share that detail with Yang? Kim replies that Captain Yang would be the last person they'd suspect. Aina repeats his logic back. Think like Lieutenant Kim. At the office, Kim requests a year-long leave to work from home on the puzzle killer case. Yang allows it, but insists he continue investigating Yunsa's case too. He also warns him not to trust Aina so easily. Kim and Aina then visit the man who filed the defamation case. He angrily says if Dong had caught the killer in time, his 20-year-old sister wouldn't have died. And to top it off, journalists tarnished her character with shameful articles. That's why he filed the lawsuit. He says he's felt peace ever since he heard he died. But surprise! He wasn't talking about Dong. He meant the journalist, Gang-hyun, who committed suicide. Now Kim and Aina track down Gang-hyun's address and head to the police station to retrieve his case file. According to the records, Gang-hyun died 8 months before Dong, and in his crime scene photos, they spot another puzzle piece. Plus, his call records show a familiar name, Kyul-jin, the last person he contacted. The name triggers Aina's memory. Back at home, she says every serial killer makes a mistake in their first murder. But Uncle Dong's murder was flawless, because it wasn't the killer's first. Kim then meets the cop who handled Gang-hyun's case. He tells Kim that Gang-hyun lived with his young son and had been depressed. Had even discussed suicide with a friend. But the officer felt something was off. No one wears a plastic bag over their face for suicide. When Kim asks why they didn't perform an autopsy, he says the family refused. Kim also asks about the puzzle piece. The cop recalls a weirdly drawn piece found near the body, something that looked like a child's drawing but deeply disturbing. Meanwhile, Aina checks evidence boxes at the station and finds a puzzle piece showing a man with his eyes sewn shut, holding a camera. Kim asks if there was anything else unusual in the case. The cop says, yes, Captain Yang was also part of this investigation back then. He knows a lot more than he's letting on. Kim is shocked. Switch to Captain Yang, who behaves strangely while questioning Choi. He asks her, besides the handkerchief, did you notice anything else? Then Kim texts him and asks to meet. At the bar, Kim tells Yang, I've always respected you. I remember when you were new and went to that victim's funeral to apologize to the family. You truly believed in justice. I became an investigator just from watching movies. But you were the real deal. Then, Kim directly asks why Yang never told him about the Gang-hyun case. Yang replies, I warned you. Do you really know Aina? Yang reveals a shocking detail. The apartment where Gang-hyun died, his son had invited friends over for group study that night. Aina was one of them. Gang-hyun died sometime between 10 p.m. and midnight. CCTV showed the kids left by 11, but Aina went upstairs to the roof and came down alone at 12:30 a.m. Because Dong was Yang's friend, they didn't interrogate her. They dismissed it as suicide. But when Dong died, Yang started suspecting her. Now Kim is confused. Who should he trust? Aina, meanwhile, revisits Gang-hyun's apartment and tries to remember. She had left home at 8:30 and had seen Gang-hyun on the phone, talking to Kyul-jin, asking for help. She had gone up to the roof for some air during the study session and remembered seeing a mysterious man entering the building. She meets Kim and confesses she didn't mention it before because it felt embarrassing. She insists she was just getting fresh air and now suspects Yang, saying he should have told Kim everything. Now Kim is caught in the middle, unsure who to believe. Later that night, Aina asks her caretaker if she remembers Kyul-jin. The woman does. He was an old friend of Dong. Aina meets Kyul-jin and reminds him of the many gifts he sent her and her uncle. But as soon as she mentions Gang-hyun, he gets suspicious, thinking Aina might be a cop, not Dong's niece. Cut to Kim, he's reading Aina's message. Choose one, either Yang or me. But if you choose me, trust me completely. Kim calls her, but a different cop picks up. He tells Kim that Aina is now at the police station, because she's the prime suspect in a murder. In the final scene, we see someone witnessing Aina dragging something with a rope. She's pulling Kyul-jin's body. Why is Aina always at the scene of the murders? Could she actually be the puzzle killer? The episode 8 opens with Kyul-jin relaxing on his yacht, but someone watches him from the shadows. In the reflection of his glasses, we see the killer's silhouette. As he opens his eyes, the figure disappears, but moments later, the killer appears behind him. Chloe's face says it all. He recognizes this person and is completely terrified. Cut to Aina, now at the Jeju police station. Officers discuss how she's refusing to say anything. Kim and Choi arrive. Kim confronts Aina, saying, So this is why you wanted me to trust you? But Aina doesn't answer. She coldly says, Your response now will show whether you ever truly trusted me. Kim is clearly frustrated by her attitude. Officers tell Kim that Aina's fingerprints were found on the yacht. An eyewitness also saw her dragging the dead body. When Kim asks about the timeline of the murder, they say it occurred between 5 o'clock and 8 p.m., and multiple people saw Aina near the yacht at 5 p.m. All evidence is stacked against her. Unless they find proof of her innocence, she's not getting out. News reaches Chief Han and Yang. They talk to the Jeju police chief, explaining that Aina was investigating a serial killer case and only met Chloe for that reason. Both then visit Aina, but she finds Yang's behavior strange. One moment, he calls himself the killer. The next, he shows up to save her. Suspicious much? So she refuses to tell them anything either. Later, Kim asks Yang why he never told him that Gang Hyun, the first victim, had a puzzle piece. Yang replies bluntly, "I don't trust Aina. And because you're with her, it wasn't safe to tell you." Kim is hurt, but Yang says he values duty above everything and still believes Aina is hiding something. Kim then finds out that Aina's therapist is also in Jeju for a seminar. At the seminar, Dr. Huang shares a haunting case. He once treated an orphan child who was constantly abused by his uncle. The child was always scared and quiet until one day he came to the clinic by himself. He looked strangely relieved. His eyes were dark. Dr. Huang understood immediately. The boy had killed his uncle by setting his truck on fire. Kim texts Dr. Lee and asks her to meet him at the station to talk to Aina. Dr. Huang joins her, showing concern for Aina. But when they arrive, Aina refuses to speak in front of Huang. She asks to speak to Dr. Lee alone. Later, Dr. Lee exits the room and tells Kim, "She didn't say anything to me either, but she wanted me to give you this puzzle piece." Kim rushes back to Aina asking, "Why are you doing this? How am I supposed to protect you?" Aina says, "Once I'm out, I'll tell you everything." She also tells him she has an alibi and hands him a private taxi driver's business card. Meanwhile, in Seoul Station, Dong-soo meets with Han and Yang. The three of them realize Aina was right. Kyul-jin was indeed the sixth victim of the puzzle killer. They now agree to take this case more seriously. They also suspect that the victims are somehow connected. Yang even suggests the case might be linked to the 10-year-old Jangwoo murders. He asks Dong-soo to work on it too. Back in Jeju, Kim gets Aina released after collecting a statement from the taxi driver. He confirms that he picked Aina up at 5 p.m. and dropped her off at a hotel. She spent several hours with him afterward, meaning she couldn't have committed the murder between 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Kim asks Aina what her plan was. She explains, "The killer has an accomplice in the department. He would never let me take the blame and go to jail. Who would solve his precious puzzle mystery then?" She believed the real killer or his ally would step in to stop her from being framed, and they did. Now, Aina and Kim start suspecting 4 people: Dr. Huang, Dr. Lee, Chief Han, and Yang, the ones who came to Jeju to get her released. Aina then tells Kim that when her taxi stopped at a red light, a motorcyclist handed her a puzzle piece, proving the killer always knows exactly where she is. Later, Aina visits her therapy clinic and asks Dr. Lee why she came to Jeju. Lee says she was attending a seminar. Aina then asks, "Why have you stuck with such a difficult case like mine for 10 years? Dr. Lee answers, "Because Dr. Huang couldn't handle you, I wanted to prove I'm better than him." As Aina leaves, she overhears the receptionist repeating a fax number. Then, she walks into Dr. Huang's room. He's not there, but she observes his keys and phone before walking out. Meanwhile, Kim checks Yang's old records and finds out that before the station, Yang worked at Mapo Station. He contacts a cop from there, who says Yang wasn't very friendly. Every time they invited him for drinks, he'd make excuses and leave. The cop then casually mentions that the night Dong-hoon was murdered, that rainy night, Yang left suddenly, claiming there was a family emergency. But Kim is stunned. Yang is an orphan. He has no family. When Yang returned, he was drenched. Kim realizes It had rained in Dong-hoon's area that night. Yang must have gone there. Kim gets the address of the bar Yang had been to and calculates the distance to Dong's home. If Yang had taken a shortcut, he could have reached the house 8 minutes before Aina. 8 minutes is more than enough time to kill someone. At the department, Dong-soo assigns everyone to work on the puzzle killer case. He asks Aina to present what they know so far. Aina explains that 6 puzzle pieces have been found. A man holding a camera with his eyes sewn shut represents journalist Gang Hyun. A man shooting a doll, Superintendent Dong-hoon. A girl whispering into someone's ear, Myong. A man lying dead with an armband, Chimok. A clown stomping sandcastles, Yunsu. A man in a hamburger eating contest, Kyul-jin. It's a 9-piece puzzle. That means 3 more murders are coming. Dong-soo privately tells Aina that many in the department don't want her on the case because she's still a suspect. But he wants her to stay. You've taken this seriously from the start, he says. Aina reunites with her analyst team. They're relieved to see her. They begin reviewing the case again. Aina says her meeting with Yunsu probably surprised the killer. That's why he made some mistakes. But with Kyul-jin, the killer was prepared and planned it perfectly. Team member Yoon-young asks, "Why are you the one receiving all these puzzle pieces?" Aina explains that the killer left puzzle pieces at earlier crime scenes, but no one noticed them. When she joined the case, he started sending them directly to her. Someone new had noticed the puzzle. Yoon-young concludes, "That means the killer must have only recently gotten to know you. He noticed your curiosity and chose you." That night, Aina and Kim discuss the 4 people who came to meet her in Jeju. Aina points out they've known her for years, not recently. So that doesn't fit. Then, Kim lays out his theory on Yang. He says Yang kept trying to steer Yunsu's case toward a resident card, like he wanted to prove a different motive. He also ignored how important Yunsu was in Chimik's case, as if he wanted to shift attention away. They now need to confirm if Yang was actually in Jeju on the day of Kyul-jin's murder. Aina plays Kim a recording of her conversation with Kyul-jin. He mentioned that all the victims were connected to the One City apartment, the building he helped construct. It was later allotted to Yunsu. But when Aina asked how her uncle Dong was linked to that apartment, Chloe said he didn't know, only that he and Dong were close. He also reminded her that his son Yang, who was her age, used to be very close to her. This makes Aina uneasy. The next day, Kim tells Dong-soo this, and Dong-soo is shocked to hear he suspects Yang. During a violent crimes meeting, Choi confirms the cause of Chloe's death, strangulation. There was also a neck injury visible on the ground, but the killer left no clues. Another perfect murder. Outside, Yang confronts Kim, asking why he was digging into his past at Mapo Station. "If you think him the killer," he says, "you're free to believe whatever you want." Later, Yang shows up outside Aina's home and asks what she remembers about the night of Jang Hyun's murder. Dong said she was on the roof that night, so what did she see? Aina says she doesn't remember. They stare at each other silently, full of suspicion. Kim checks Jeju flight records and confirms that Yang had been to Jeju both a month ago and on the day of Chloe's murder. Kim's heart sinks. Still investigating, Kim brings Choi to analyst Yoon-young, who's trained in hypnosis. She hypnotizes Choi to access his subconscious memory. She asks what happened after he saw the handkerchief at Yunsu's office. Choi slowly recalls someone picked it up, wearing a dark coat with a watch. Everyone stares at him. Then he says it was Yang. A flashback shows Yang picking up the handkerchief and slipping it into his pocket. Back in the present, Kim is stunned. In the final scene, Yang takes that exact handkerchief out in front of Kim. And with that chilling moment, episode 8 ends. If you think Yang is the killer or someone else, drop your theory in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to Popverse for the next wild episode recap.